So good evening friends, this is Rahul Magan here as a Group Chief Executive Officer, Treasury Consulting and also a Venture Capitalist. Today we're going to shoot about a video which I have collated a lot of data from various websites, newspapers, magazine and there are a lot of content from my side as well. I would like to share approximately 21 points with you. And the title of this video is that the workforce of future. Well, we need to learn one thing that before starting this video that we are not living in a world when we need grass cutters. Now, grass cutter means you do your schooling, you do your grad, and after the grad you will do your post grad, and after post grad you will join any corporate where you learn 7 years, then you shift corporate and so on and so forth. No, we're not living that. I think we are living in a world when the requirements of industry is changing at a very faster pace, and I think the requirements reached to a level whereby it is quite difficult for I think the kids also to understand what exactly is industry looking for, to be honest, according to me. But at the same time, this grass cutting model, I call this as a grass cutting model, this model I don't think really requires anymore. So what I need is that I have collated 22 points from website, few are my points, from some magazines, some interviews. So I don't claim that all points are mine, but this is what exactly the best points which I collated in best from my side. I see that these are the few points, 21, 22, although the list is not comprehensive. We know that this video itself takes 10-15 minutes. We need to see that if we are able to imbibe the maximum stuff out of this, then we are secure for at least 20 years from now, 20, that I'm sure. Number one, the world is shifting from machine-based to skill-based workforce. I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Even if you look at manufacturing, like recent example is the Amazon. Amazon has cut jobs of the people, those who used to pack their products. For example, today you're buying some shoe from Amazon, and Amazon warehouses cut the jobs. Why warehouses? Amazon is a company, cut the job and replaced with the robotics because they wanted to reduce the cost. E-commerce is anyways a paper thin margin game. There is a very small margin on which they are running. If you are buying a shoe of 150 rupees, assuming, from Amazon, what do you think? Amazon is earning 30-40 rupees. They are earning just 3 rupee, 4 rupee or maximum 5 rupee out of it. But they are cutting the jobs of the people and replacing with the robotics. So yes, absolutely rightly pointed that it is shifting from machine-based to the skill-based work future. When it comes to the service industry, we don't need people who will sit before the computer. Like there were the time when people were sitting and making ledgers in the banks. Big diaries. Our grandfather saw such scenes, big diaries, they were making the ledgers. But now, then the time came in 1990s when they used to sit before the computer actually. And then the time came, now they need a skill-based workforce, rightly pointed. Second is investment in the AI, machine learning, automation, IoT, which is Internet of Things, virtual reality, augmented reality, and respective has to grow. I absolutely agree. 2 to 3 years down the line, corporate has to invest in artificial intelligence, machine learning, automation, Internet of Things, virtual reality, augmented reality, and respective. The more the investment would happen in these things, the more jobs would come, but only for the people, those who are competent, and the jobs will go. So I see that more jobs will go than they are coming in the near future because people are not ready for that. They are either living in their so-called demarcated I would say demarcated, kind of they have demarcated themselves, or they are living too much in their comfortable zone. They're really not interested to see what is happening. Like if I talk about Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, CA, the Chartered Accountants are spending 5 years actually. First you do the, if I'm not mistaken, the CPT, then you do IPCC, then you do Group 1 and Group 2, in between IPCC and that you do internship. I might be wrong, so please take my apologies in that regards. But in the whole 5 year, here I'm sure because I know many chartered accountants worldwide. In the whole 5 years, Artificial intelligence, machine learning, automation, Internet of Things, virtual reality, augmented reality, and all respective are absent. They even do not know. So yesterday there was some discussion going on the LinkedIn that about forensics. Even chartered accountant claimed that we do not know about forensics. Forget these things. What you are talking about. This is something high level. We even do not know forensics. Long-term contract employees to gig economy. Absolutely agree. 100%. I still remember 2 years ago when I was invited as a speaker, even today when I'm invited as a speaker in SP Jan Mumbai. You know SP Jan, it's one of the renowned business schools we have in India. One of the persons from KPMG was there, and he, without quoting the name, he was a director HR in KPMG, and he raised the word gig economy. And I was little disagreement with his word that he said that gig economy would soon replace the permanent economy. I said this soon would be coming 2 to 3 years down the line. Now I need to correct myself, and the correction is that this gig economy has actually replaced permanent economy. If you look at the banks, financial institutions, manufacturing concerns, and especially in Singapore, Hong Kong, and Dubai also, the number of recruitments happening in the gig economy is more than it's happening in the permanent economy. So for those who do not know gig economy means contract roles, various type of contracts, not permanent. It is happening. I'm damn sure that even in Singapore, I don't know the percentage, but there is a good percentage of the people, those who are a part of the gig economy. And I am in sync that gig economy is growing and maybe grow leap and bounds in the next upcoming time. As nobody wants to hire a permanent employee, nobody wants to train them, nobody wants to give him the training, him or her a training, and then let the job done. People want if you don't update yourself after 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, you're not performing good, we will remove you. There are people who are there in the system to hire. And I think sooner or later, India will also be a part of gig economy. Employers and employees should see their relationship as a collaborative teamwork designed for commercial excellence. I strongly agree, but this equation do not hold true in India, as employers treat as masters and employees treat as servants, and especially the middle management. So there are 3 management: lower level, middle, and upper, which is known as C-suite. Middle level management, from middle level management, they started taking themselves as masters, and from upper level management, they feel that we are kings. That is, I'm damn sure that even few vice president of ILFS, Jet Airways, they still consider themselves as king. I'm damn sure about that. So this here I agree. For all the good corporates like Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and Alibaba, one of the biggest success factors is that the employers and the employee work together. Like in case of Apple, Mr. Jobs and Jonathan Ive, they work together. Mr. Jobs never felt Jonathan Ive that you are an employee and I am an employer. And so has his team. In case of Microsoft, the way Mr. Bill Gates work is exemplary. I think exemplary is the only word I have. If I would have better word, I love to give him. Such a person, modest, down to earth, reachable, and always ready to listen to new ideas. And today, Microsoft is a $1 trillion company. The way Alibaba works, Mr. Jack Ma, approachable, reachable, always ready to listen new ideas, ready to invest new. Bill Gross, the ex-Pimco, Jeff Bezos, Amazon founder. It's more dependent upon the employer. If the employer is friendly, conducive, reachable, innovative, then employees will automatically be that. But if the employer is, egoist, wanted to have a stick in his hand, wanted to rule the show and all these things, then employees would be like that. So it is like that. Well, when Treasury Consulting would be bank, we would be like the former. Reachable, approachable, connectivity, always open to new ideas, and always ready to give challenge to the status quo, which we are giving. 5th, banking workforce to dominate by AI, jobs to go. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. In the next 5 years, banking jobs to come, banking jobs to go. We are making separate videos on that. Future workforce in banking. We will elaborate more here. how the banking jobs will go, which section of the bank would go, but for that we need to wait for a few days. Hopefully next Saturday we will shoot this video, but we would be making separate video for the banks. But yes, jobs would go, and that's for sure. Concept of work is really morphing. Regular trainings are required. That is right, but question is that who will provide the training? Are you expecting the corporate to provide the training? This will never happen. Gone are the days when corporate were having 20%, 30%, 40% margins. They don't have enough margin now. They're not going to provide the training. Not at all. You need to update yourself. I don't think it's a duty of the Amazon, Google, Facebook, Apple, Accenture, Cognizant, and all the big corporates to provide training. If they started providing training to their employee at a paper-thin margin, then they are gone. For what they are doing business, right? Employee has to update. Employee has to update himself or herself. Analytical and reasoning skills of human being cannot be discounting in the age of smart machines, but how many are like that? Absolutely right statement. Analytical and the reasoning skills of the human being cannot be discounted, but rightly pointed out that how many people we have in the world who actually have that level of capability. We don't. We actually don't. New patterns for commerce will emerge, and Singapore and Hong Kong will continue to be the fintech hub. Absolutely agree. And we consider ourselves lucky that the competition between the Singapore and Hong Kong has reached a level whereby this competition is helping startups to do something new, because Singapore is leading the show. Singapore is making sure that both Singapore and Hong Kong is making sure that they are giving their best to the startups, and governments are reachable in nature. Cross competency would emerge, and SMEs and corporates and large corporates are ready to deliver. Absolutely agree. Don't refer this as a cross competency. I refer this as master of all, jack for one. That is. So the statement is the cross competency. I say that gone are the days when you are jack of all, master of one, but today you are master of all, jack of one. Cross competency is very much required. We already crossed the era of functional competency. Functional competency is something which is there. You have to have. So example, if you are going to Europe, you will anyways get a beautiful environment, clean roads, highly qualitative air, hospitable environment, and reachable government. If you come to Singapore, you will find excellent infrastructure, reachable government, #1 airport of the globe, perfect immigration system, and hospitable people. These are things you will automatically get in Singapore, not to ask for. That is, because Singapore always give you that. The question is, we'll cross the level of functional skills. We are moving towards cross competency, and God knows, today I'm 35, by the time I turn 45, we might have greater than cross competency, but I cannot comment right away. Organizations are shifting from input based approach to output based approach. I absolutely agree. Especially the information technologies companies like Cognizant, Accenture, Facebook, technology and information technology company like Cognizant, Accenture, Facebook, Amazon, Alibaba, Google, Microsoft, Apple. They are shifting from input based approach to output based approach, and they have to. And we are also shifting, to be honest. 11. Industry 4.0 would be ready for 100% automation. Perfect. And alternately, it has been said that the high skilled labor workforce is more required than the labor workforce. Absolutely agree. Self-destructive workforce is mandatory. Here Singapore once again set an example. I have not a single doubt in that. Singapore is one of the countries in the globe, and I still remember one of the statements which I read about given by the Minister of Education, I think 1 year ago, which was that if there is a technology which is coming and that technology will take 4,000 jobs, but it will give 7,000 jobs, Singapore is welcoming that. And rightly pointed. The reason why Singapore and Hong Kong are ruling the show in the globe is that they are the two countries of the globe who always welcome new things. And in Singapore, they never worry to challenge the status quo. You go anywhere from MRT, the immigration departments, the government offices, they are ready to challenge new things. In fact, very soon we are meeting the central bank again, discussing about our proposal. They are ready to challenge everything, and because they know if they don't, somebody else will take up. And of course, I'm damn sure, I'm very sure, high hopes that Singapore will continue to set as an example in Southeast Asia and worldwide, the way they are setting right now. Growing gaps between industry requirement and B schools needs to be bridged. I think that is one of the finest questions being asked, but to be honest, if you're talking about an Indian B school, or there are multiple countries without quoting the name, their B schools are actually not even 1/10 of what industry is looking to. Yes, for a B school like Stanford, Harvard, Kellogg, and all these B schools, they are trying to bridge the gap between industry and their curriculum. Like if you look LinkedIn, if you are very active on LinkedIn, you would get to know that Stanford, Harvard, Kellogg, they are continuously posting so many videos, so many content about blockchain and all on the YouTube and LinkedIn, because they are bridging the gap between industry requirements and their course curriculum. While did you ever saw that any Indian B school doing that? Definitely not. Robotics in manufacturing to AI-based powered chat box. This would be, the question is robotics in manufacturing to AI-powered chat box. This is what the dream of Amazon in 2020. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Chatbox is a reality. Just go 3 years back. How many jobs being gone? Do we know that? We don't know. 3 to 5 years back, there used to be one on the right hand side. There used to be one column whereby some customer care executive used to sit. You go to website, you click on that customer care, you click on that customer care, and that lady or a gentleman would reply. But if you look at our website, bank's website, or anybody's website, is it that happening? No, it's all chat box. It's all automated tool. Our website is on Facebook Communicator. No, nothing is required. You visit there, type, it will come to me via Facebook. It will come to me on WhatsApp automatically. Banks are on chat box. We are soon coming on chat box. Gone are the days when people going to have these kind of stuff. Of course, the AI powered machine and the chat box are there. And in treasury management system, there is a new term which is coming, which is bots. I don't know whether the current treasury management system of Murex and Calypso are ready for that. That's their call. But sooner or later, treasury management system would come on bots. We'll have separate video on that soon. So next, manufacturing 4.0 model has to adaptive and responsive in nature. Jobs would go. Absolutely agree. Gone are the days when you have huge supply chain. Definitely not. Now the supply chain would be short, and you need the people, few people handle the complete supply chain. Industry 4.0 or manufacturing service 4.0, actually Industry 4.0 is the fresh model. So Industry 4.0 divided into two parts. Industry 4.0 is service 4.0, which is IT and ITS, and manufacturing 4.0 for ExxonMobil, Reliance Industries Limited, who are still in the manufacturing business. C-suite will not be spared covering data literacy and ability to do analytics on data sets. Absolutely agree. We come in C-suite. Senior management will not be spared. So gone are the days when the senior management say, oh, you expect me to know this? Gone are the days. Today senior management has to be on the toes. If the senior management is not on the toes, the company would be JET. Company would be ILFS. Company would be Yes Bank. Company would be ICICI Bank. Company would be many. If senior management is not on the toes. If the senior management on the toes, company would be Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Alibaba, because senior management is on the toes always. Mr. Jobs, simplest example, few minutes before his departure from the globe, he was on the toes. This is called commitment. Mr. Gates, I don't know, Mr. Gates himself would be knowing how much money he holds right now, but he is still on the toes. Mr. Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, the richest man on the globe, Jack Ma, founder of Alibaba, they all are on the toes. Why? Did you ever thought why they are on the toes? Are they short of money? Do anything left for Jeff Bezos to prove? Anything left for him to prove? He is the founder of the richest company, boss. He is the richest man of the globe. Anything left for Jeff Bezos to prove? But why he is on the toes? Just think. And are we on the toes? Your call. But I am on the toes. And I will also want my competitors to be on the toes. Question number 17 is that data analytics will gain substantial importance. Of course, there are multiple tools like Tableau, ClickView. There are a lot of tools which are getting a lot of momentum. In Singapore, I think Tableau is getting a lot of momentum nowadays. I just been to one of the website conferences where Tableau got a lot of momentum. And I am myself using Tableau actually. Sharing economic, casual and short-term contracts would rule. I absolutely agree. Today you need project-based jobs, and in the project-based job you need casual workforce, short-term contracts and freelancing, gig economy. You don't need permanent people. Confidence in the crisis is apparent in the workforce of the global financial centers as they are turning clueless. I absolutely agree. There are many people worldwide, those who are turning clueless, they do not know where to go. Actually, they are not centralizing themselves. They do not know where to go. They see that virtual reality, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, augmented reality, this, that, this, everything is happening. Where to go? We don't know. They absolutely agree from their regards, but at the same time, they need to see that if they don't learn that, soon they would be jobless. Then, virtual bank data companies needs to be on the radar of cybersecurity, and cybersecurity is must. Absolutely agree. One side, when we're talking about virtual banks, I am with you. But at the same time, we need to understand that virtual banks, one thing has to be important, that is cybersecurity. Virtual bank cannot be run without cybersecurity. Virtual bank should not end up as any crypto exchange whereby after every 2 months their name come in the public domain. It should not be the end for virtual bank, according to me. Rest I don't know. Cyber security will surely be gaining momentum, and it is getting momentum in Singapore and Hong Kong. Government is also serious here about cyber security and taking the necessary steps in that regards. And last, finally, schools curriculum needs to be revised so that the business schools would automatically revised. I absolutely agree. School curriculum has to revised so that the business schools would automatically revised. But at the same time, we need to see that which business school we are talking about. We need to see. Singaporean schooling system is not considered as the best schooling system of the globe, but it is amongst the best. Finland, #1 schooling system of the globe. If we need to learn how schooling to happen, we need to go to Finland. In fact, all the wealthiest parents, I might never get an opportunity to be in that sphere, not because of money, because I really don't want to marry and waste my time. But all the wealthiest parents are advised to have their kid to Finland, at least in the initial career or initial part of his or her career, so that he will actually, his base would be more solid. So I'm damn sure that in the later part of the game, Finland would surely be making sure that the business school has to be more responsive than the schooling system has to be more responsive than the business school. Here I'm damn sure that the Finland, Singapore, Hong Kong, few countries of Europe and maybe US will be leading the show. But once again, Finland would always be the leading benchmark as far as the schooling system is concerned. These are the things which I see in as far as the future workforce of future. But at the same time, I would like to have few more points here to add. You have to be adaptive, persuasive. You have to be on your toes. If you really wish to see yourself existing, you have to learn a lot in the next upcoming year. If you really don't want to see yourself unemployable, if you are an entrepreneur, you have to think that there is nothing which is impossible. You have to do. If you don't do, somebody else will do. You, as an entrepreneur, you have to be holistic in your parlance. You should not be thematic in nature. As an organization, you should not hire people, those who are thematic. You should hire people, those who are holistic. And last but not the least, you should learn how to how to be on a learning curve throughout the lifetime. Because I am sure of one fact, that every passing year, the complexity of having a job will grow. So every passing year, like we passed out in 2006-7, complexity wasn't much. Today the complexity is high. And 10 years down the line, 2029 or close to 2030, complexity would be, I think, 20 times more than what it is today. So if you are a parent who thinks that your kid would be employable 15 years down the line, you think you yourself would be employable 15 years down the line, you have to be on your toes. But if you are not, then future is ready to kill you and ready to give a birth to somebody who really wanted to be conducive. With this, Treasury Consulting, thank you very much. You know my mobile number, 919899242978. You know our fixed income platform, www.fixedincome.global. Have a great time.